Wait. Pinches? It starts with sorry.
Oh my god, it's so bad. It's so bad. Hazbin Hotel is an amazing concept, but it just has bad writing. The story dwells on what is actually morality, and I gotta say, I love that concept. I love thinking about morality because morality isn't black and white. I personally believe there is no universal morality. I think morality is more individualized, like based on how you grew up and like who you grew up with. I personally believe there is no such thing as a good person, but if we are talking about good versus evil, I believe that is more of a spectrum more than anything, and people fall into more of the neutral side of things. Hazbin Hotel is just not written well in any sort of sense. Like, it really irritates me because the concept, like the story could be so good, it's just that like, whoever's writing it, I know who's writing it, but like the writers just want this to be so teen oriented and just so lame. The show feels like it should be strong when the characters are playing off of each other, but that's just not the case. I actually feel the characters are strongest when they actually are by themselves. Angel Dust being one of the best well-written characters in this show, and it sucks because all of his conversations are just like, fuck shit. It's like, oh my god, it's so irritating. I think I understand what Vivian is going for. They're going for a more like lighthearted, more like casual sort of cursing, but the way they do it, it's not casual at all. The best way I can explain the writing in this show is that like a teen figured out how to cuss, and now they're just cussing up a storm. They're just like, oh, I'm gonna rebel against my mother. It makes 99% of the comedy in this show not land or not work at all, because the more you say fuck and shit all of the time, people are gonna get used to that and they're just gonna expect it. It's gonna be the status quo. So when all of your jokes revolve around cussing or just sex jokes in general, then none of your jokes are actually jokes. It's just normal conversation at that point. To be good at comedy, you have to kind of condition your audience into like normality. There has to be like a normal level, and then you can like offset like with different jokes or like shock humor or whatever the fuck. But with Hazbin Hotel, the normality is sex jokes and cussing, so therefore the offsets are never there, and if they are there, they just don't feel like they're like distant enough from the norm.
Hey, you.
Who, me?
Yeah, you look like a kid who could use some devil's dandruff. Oh, for fuck's sake.
The joke is that it's supposed to be Angel Dust, but instead they put Devil's Dandruff for alliteration and to subvert expectations. But it's like also being like self-aware that the writing is bad, and it wouldn't be so much of an issue if the writing was good. Now, speaking a little bit on the animation is actually very beautiful. I gotta say, throughout every single episode, the animation just shines. The animators are beautiful. They are doing their work 100%. And I gotta say one thing, and indie animators, like, oh my god, please let Disney go. This is mainly targeted to the indie projects who make it big, because it seems like almost every single indie project that makes it big that is 2D, they wear Disney on their sleeve, and it's just like, there's other animation styles, like please be unique. I'm not saying your animation is bad in any sense. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's just that like, it's reminding me so much of Disney, and I don't want indie projects to be the better Disney. I want them to be unique from Disney, unique from these big names. I don't want them to be the better alternative. I want them to be the better entity. Now, going into the music, Hazbin Hotel is a musical, and it tries to cram 2 songs in every episode, and it doesn't really need to do that. It really fucks with the pacing of the show, as it feels like these songs are just sort of like instantaneous. They kind of pop up at the end of the show, or like mainly towards the middle or end, and it's just like there's no real introduction or way to ease into it, and it's weird. Not to say the pacing wasn't already fucked up, because they cram so much information into these like 8 little episodes, and it's just like, oh my god, you need to let people breathe. Let people process this information and let your characters grow. But the music is actually stellar. Like, whoever is writing these songs, or at least majority of these songs, could you please write the show? The music is what actually got me through majority of these episodes. They're actually a treat, and they're well produced and well sung. Like, the Broadway actors that she got are actually doing their job. They are so talented. It's amazing. But that's not to say every song is a hit. The more somber and like ballads are just like, god, they are so cringe to go through, and it's mainly because of the context given. Like the Sorry song, oh my god!
It starts with sorry.
I'm sorry I watched this show. When it hits, it really does hit. Like the Meeting song, that is probably one of the best songs in this entire series. The singer for Velvet is actually giving that shit so much personality, and it's just like, it's shining so hard. You can't ignore it. It's such a bop.
You've got it twisted. I'm not the one who needs a new attitude. Maybe you missed it, but I'm that hashtag bitch, and I will do nothing less than what I please. Woo! I'm the backbone of the vase. Mad that I acted respectless. Well, it's cause no one could respect this.
Lily Cooper is so fucking good, and for what? This show? The Poison song is actually a generic song. It's nothing really special. It's sung very well, but like, what really irritates me is the context given from the animation. I'm not gonna show it because it gets extremely dark, but just know Angel Dust gets assaulted by their boss. And yes, it is assault, because there's a power dynamic there, and you can't tell me otherwise. I'm okay with very dark and strong themes in media as long as it's done well, and basically relating that sort of act to a pop song, it's mixing emotions and just like handled very poorly. As someone who's been through a lot of fucked up shit and who's actually like listened to a lot of fucked up songs, like, if you're gonna make a dark theme, then make a dark song around it. Like, make it really impactful. I'm not trying to say you can't talk about these things in music, but when you're making a pop song about it and it's very dark themes, you're making it clear that it's very exploitative. And especially when teens or kids are involved with this shit and they hear it, it just fucks with their brain. Please stop doing this. There's a reason why something like Slipknot is praised and something like, I don't know, AJR, because I can't really think of a band name right now, is not. Speaking of AJR, this sounds exactly like AJR, and if you listen to AJR, you know exactly what I mean. It's these sort of Disney-ass songs to where the singer is actually very talented, but then when they're writing their lyrics, like when you're listening to the song, they have to say fuck or shit. They have to like ruin the mood of the song by cussing for no reason. That's the name of the game over at Hazbin Hotel, ruining the fucking mood. Now, speaking quickly on these characters, Angel Dust is actually written pretty well for the most part. Charlie, one-dimensional. She's worthless. Vaggie, there's no point to Vaggie. Like, literally, up until episode 6, there's no point to Vaggie. She's basically like an aide to Charlie, and that's it. She doesn't have any personality of her own. Alistair is the second best written character, and I gotta say, he's very interesting. He's very fun to be around, and I think like his main goal of probably wanting to go to heaven and take control of that, I kind of fuck with it. Dusk is actually a character I very much enjoy, and it's mainly because like they're not ruining him by giving him too much screen time. They kind of use him very effectively, not effectively, but like decently, I should say. And the last character, Nifty, I think her name is, like, she's a fun character, but she doesn't really do anything, like, real talk. Like, her only purpose is to be like, ooh, bad boy, wow. Now, speaking on the story, I actually think the story is rather intriguing because, like, it's a story about morality, and it's actually interesting for once. Charlie, the daughter of Lucifer, actually wants to cleanse her people and redeem them in order to like have them go to heaven, and heaven doesn't necessarily want that. Well, they actually don't know in general if that can be done. Like, honestly, episodes 5 and 6, I know I'm talking about it right now, but episodes 5 and 6, like, they feel like they should have been like in season 4 of the Hazbin Hotel. A lot of core information is just rushed. It's compacted into these 8 episodes, and it's just like there's too much at one time. Like for like 3 episodes, it feels like they do nothing. Like they're trying to do like trust exercises, which are like, it's extremely cringe and corny, and I fucking hate it so fucking much. But regardless of that, like, they waste their time doing that, and like nothing else really happens. No progress is made. And that necessarily wouldn't have been an issue if the Hazbin Hotel wouldn't have been deemed as useless in the 6th episode. Like the 6th episode was actually a well-written bombshell to where they figure out that heaven actually doesn't know what gets people into heaven or like what the rules are. But it should have been on season 4. It should have been on season 2. Anywhere but the first season. If Helluva Boss has a problem of keeping focus, Hazbin Hotel has a problem of keeping interest, because I know everything that's gonna go on basically right now. Like, do I need to watch season 2? Like, I know there's a war coming. I know that heaven and hell are probably gonna unite in some sort of sense because the whole focus is morality. And I know that Alistair is gonna be such a big part of that, unless he's not, you know, they see this video and they're like, nah. I wouldn't be so turned off by these predictable sort of setups if the comedy and the writing were just strong enough to make me want to watch it. No matter what, I believe supporting indie projects is a good thing, but that doesn't mean their writing or their production is gonna be good. Not saying the show can't redeem itself, or any other indie project can't redeem itself if it's deemed to be bad by the masses, or like just not really written too well by the masses. I just personally am not a person to watch something I have no interest in anymore. This is going to be my only video on Hazbin Hotel. I wish well for the team, but I personally am not interested in it. I'm not a person who milks shit. I'm not a person who hate watches out of spite or just for money. Like, I genuinely love animation. I love being a part of this culture. And therefore, like, I like talking about things I find are interesting or that I can bring a new perspective towards. And I can no longer bring anything towards Hazbin Hotel because I don't want to watch it anymore. Like I said, wish you well. I'm not sending you any hate, but yeah, I'm done.